Never Look Back presents ICICI Bank Annual Report Key Points. During fiscal 2020, non-food credit growth remained muted with a sharp moderation towards the end of the year due to the lockdown. As per data on sector-wise deployment of credit released by RBI for March 27, 2020, retail loans grew by 15.7%, credit to services sector by 8.5%, credit to industry grew by 1.4%, and credit to agriculture sector by 5.2%. During fiscal 2020, ICICI Bank was focused on its strategic objective of risk-calibrated profitable growth. The bank made progress on increasing the granularity of its portfolio and enhancing the customer franchise during the year. Number 1. Bank's core operating profit has increased by 21.5% from 220.72 billion in fiscal 2019 to 268.08 billion in fiscal 2020, primarily due to an increase in net interest income by 23.1% and an increase in fee income by 14.4%. Number 2. Bank's provisions and contingencies has decreased by 28.5% from 196.61 billion in fiscal 2019 to 140.53 billion in fiscal 2020. The provisions made by the bank is more than the requirement under RBI guidelines dated April 17, 2020. Number 3. Bank's profit after tax has increased by 135.8% from 33.63 billion in fiscal 2019 to 79.31 billion in fiscal 2020. Number 4. Bank's net interest income has increased by 23.1% from 270.15 billion in fiscal 2019 to 332.67 billion in fiscal 2020, reflecting an increase of 13.1% in the average volume of interest earning assets and an increase in the net interest margin by 31 basis points from 3.42% in fiscal 2019 to 3.73% in fiscal 2020. Number 5. Dividend from subsidiaries has increased by 18.1% from 10.78 billion in fiscal 2019 to 12.73 billion in fiscal 2020. Number 6. Bank's operating expenses has increased by 19.5% from 180.89 billion in fiscal 2019 to 216.15 billion in fiscal 2020, primarily due to an increase in staff cost and other administrative expenses. Number 7. The income from treasury-related activities decreased from 13.66 billion in fiscal 2019 to 12.93 billion in fiscal 2020. During fiscal 2019, the bank had sold equity shares representing 2% shareholding in ICICI Prudential Life Insurance Company Limited, resulting in net gain of 11.10 billion. Number 8. The income tax expense has increased from 4.14 billion in fiscal 2019 to 61.17 billion in fiscal 2020. The effective tax rate increased from 10.9% in fiscal 2019 to 43.5% in fiscal 2020. Number 9. Bank's net worth has increased from 1,083.68 billion at March 31, 2019 to 1,165.04 billion at March 31, 2020, primarily due to accretion to reserves from profits for the year. Number 10. The bank's total assets has increased by 13.9% from 9,644.59 billion at March 31st, 2019 to 10,983.65 billion at March 31st, 2020. Number 11. The bank had a branch network of 5,324 branches and an ATM network of 15,688 ATMs at March 31st, 2020. The bank's long-term strategic focus of growing its core operating profits in a risk-calibrated and granular manner would continue in future. The bank seeks to build scalable and resilient businesses while operating within the guardrails of risk management. In view of the COVID-19 pandemic, there will be an impact on revenues and an increase in rating downgrades in the portfolio and NPA formation at a systemic level and for the bank. The bank's immediate focus in fiscal 2021 would be towards maintaining the adequate liquidity, conservation of capital, and robust credit monitoring. Given the bank's core operating profitability, liquidity, and capital adequacy, the bank believes it is well placed to absorb the impact of the challenges in the environment. Well, that was the video on ICICI Bank Annual Report Key Points 2020. We hope you liked the video. Consider to subscribe if you're new to this channel. We'll be right back with another informative video. Until then, stay tuned.